cadets on parade. It gives me great pleasure to be here today as a graduate of Aberdeen University. I studied here in the early 80s, so it is the first time I've been back in any sort of official capacity. I congratulate you on your turnout this morning and your drill coming here. I'm sure that your drill going away from here will be just as smart. And some runs playing well as well, so good to hear them in such a good heart. Just before you do march off parade, we are deviating from the normal parade ever so slightly this morning. Sometimes in the services, we do not spend enough time recognizing our people when they have done something special. And again this morning, it's going to give me great pleasure to be able to recognize one of your number for having done something special. Now this person doesn't actually know that they are about to be awarded the General Officer Commanding Second Division's commendation. And this was for activity last summer. I'll now hand over to the Commanding Officer who will read a citation for Senior Under Officer Scott.
Senior Under Officer Scott is a member of Aberdeen University's Officer Training Corps and was a third-year physiotherapy student at Robert Gordon University. On the 9th of June 2010, Ms. Scott was a member of the Aberdeen University Officer Training Corps Battlefield Study Party, travelling from Aberdeen to St. Valery-en-Caux in northern France. At approximately 1300 hours, the coach stopped for lunch at Kiel Services on the M6. Within 5 minutes of resuming the journey, a minibus passed the coach with a flat tyre, but travelling at approximately 70 miles an hour. Almost immediately in front of the coach, the minibus flipped onto its side, then its roof, crashed into the central barrier, bounced back into the carriageway and back onto its side, coming to rest 50 metres in front of the UOTC coach. Lieutenant Colonel Wardner and Lieutenant Colonel McKenny Bennett were sitting at the front of the coach and were first on the scene. With the chassis twisted, the only way into the vehicle was to remove the glass from the windscreen and use the resulting gap. The 12 passengers in the minibus were an Asian family travelling to a wedding. Given the shock of the crash, the majority were not speaking English and the situation was confused. As the minor casualties were extracted from the vehicle back through the windscreen, Ms. Scott arrived at the scene and started prioritising the casualties and taking control of the medical treatment. After 5 minutes of effort, Ms. Scott was left with one trapped Asian woman in the minibus with severe cuts to her head and a badly broken wrist. The lady was trapped on her side under one of the seats. Ms. Scott positioned herself so that the casualty's head was resting on her lap, so that Ms. Scott could provide reassurance and deal with the head wound and wrist simultaneously. At this stage, Ms. Scott was in complete control. A calm reassurance of the elderly, non-English speaking woman, who was in great pain and very frightened, was truly remarkable given the circumstances. 15 minutes after the initial crash, the emergency services started to arrive on the scene. Ms. Scott's professionalism was so marked that despite the presence of paramedics, police and fire service, it was Ms. Scott that was left providing first aid and assurance to the main casualty inside the minibus, whilst the professional emergency services dealt with the other casualties and cut open the minibus to free the last casualty. Ms. Scott was finally relieved of this task as the elderly lady was stretchered onto the air ambulance 45 minutes after the accident. Throughout the incident, Ms. Scott gave no thought safety. Following the incident and an excellent career at the University Officer Training Corps to date, Ms. Scott was selected for the appointment of Senior Under Officer. However, it is for her calm and totally professional reaction to the emergency, clearly demonstrating great courage and selfless commitment, that she is recommended for General Officer Commanding's commendation. So.
Something broken.